My boyfriend's sister and her husband look down on everyone and intrude on everything they do. They even joined her brother on his honeymoon, and now they are staying at my house forcing me to tattoo them like I'm a peasant. I, 26F, live together with my boyfriend, 25M, away from our families. We're Indian, so living together before marriage is taboo. His parents don't know, and we want to keep it that way until we're engaged. My boyfriend has 2 older siblings, an elder brother and a sister, both married. His elder brother and his wife are wonderful people, very kind and considerate, just like his parents. His mother is an amazing woman, and I get along really well with her. In fact, his father, mother, and elder brother's wife all respect personal boundaries and understand basic decency. But his sister and her husband? A nightmare. First interaction: the beach trip disaster. The first time I met my boyfriend's siblings was when they visited our city for their mother's medical checkup. They invited me on a short trip to the beach. Everything was fine, until I saw how inconsiderate my boyfriend's sister's husband was. My future mother-in-law was unwell, but this man was adamant about getting a tattoo. Because of him, the whole family had to stay an extra night, and he showed zero remorse or concern for his sick mother-in-law. I told my boyfriend later that I didn't like his sister's husband. He just told me that everyone has to entertain him because he's part of the family. Since I wasn't married to my boyfriend yet, I chose to stay quiet. 2. Second interaction: hosting his sister a year later. My boyfriend's sister and her husband came to our city for his medical checkup. Since I got along well with her at first, I was excited to invite her over. We had a nice time, and everything seemed normal. Little did I know, this was just the calm before the storm. 3. Third interaction: the honeymoon intrusion and tattoo nightmare. Fast forward a few months, my boyfriend's elder brother got married. I attended the wedding, and things were smooth, until I heard what happened during their honeymoon. Instead of giving the newlyweds privacy, my boyfriend's sister and her husband tagged along on their honeymoon. They stayed in the same hotel, followed the couple everywhere, and refused to give them space. I couldn't believe how intrusive they were. After their honeymoon, the newlyweds came to stay at our place for a few days, along with my boyfriend's sister and her husband. I have a hobby of giving tattoos, and since the newlyweds wanted matching tattoos, I agreed. That's when things spiraled out of control. My boyfriend's sister suddenly decided she wanted a tattoo too. Then her husband wanted one. And before I knew it, I was stuck for hours, exhausted, tattooing all of them. I work from home, have house chores, and 3 pets to take care of. But they didn't care. They kept demanding more, completely inconsiderate of my time and energy. The worst part? They wouldn't leave. My boyfriend's elder brother had already booked tickets for him and his wife to leave after staying for 2 days. But my boyfriend's sister and her husband refused to go home. Because of them, everyone was frustrated. The whole situation led to fights between everyone. I got into a huge argument with my boyfriend. His elder brother and his new wife got into a fight because they were so frustrated with the childish behavior of these two. They ended up leaving early because they couldn't deal with these grown-ass babies anymore. And we? We were stuck with them for another miserable day. I was mentally and physically drained. I wanted them gone, but I had to tolerate it because, at the end of the day, they were family. The final straw: the cataract surgery drama. Recently, my boyfriend's mom needed cataract surgery. Since his father and elder brother had work, she had to travel alone to our city. His sister, however, is a housewife with absolutely nothing to do. Yet, instead of accompanying her blind and one-eye mother, she let her travel alone. Since my boyfriend and I live together, which, again, his parents don't know about, I temporarily moved back to my own place while his mom stayed with him. I still helped care for her post-surgery. Then, out of nowhere, his sister decided it was the perfect time to show up at our place, with her husband. Despite everyone, including their own mother, telling them not to come, she insisted. I didn't want to deal with them, especially since her husband is incapable of basic social behavior. They weren't there to help. She barely took care of her mother, didn't cook, didn't do anything. I was already stressed from managing work, our pets, and keeping up the white lie about not living with my boyfriend. To avoid unnecessary drama, I even booked a hotel for myself. But they just wouldn't leave. Eventually, my boyfriend, his elder brother, and their father all tried to make her understand that it was time for her and her husband to go home. But she threw another tantrum, started crying in front of their mother, and acted like she was the victim. At this point, I feel like I'm constantly being disrespected, forced to tolerate nonsense just to keep the peace. My boyfriend supports me, but he's stuck in the middle of this mess. How do we even deal with someone like this? Update 1. First of all, thank you so much to everyone for helping me come to terms with the fact that only I can stand up for myself and set boundaries. So, me and my boyfriend had a chat last night about everything, and decided it was best if we let the whole family know that, We both live together, so it's as much my house as his. This kind of indecency won't be entertained in our safe space, and if any family members want to take the Sil and his husband's side, they're free to do so without involving us or creating stressful situations for us. Sil and her husband need to leave right now. We got up in the morning today, and drove back to our apartment. Sil opened her the door. Sil's whole reason for staying at our place was to take care of recovering Mill and helping around house chores. Believe me when I say I couldn't recognize that it was my house. Leftovers from previous day was sitting in a dish with fruit fly larvae lurking over it. Dog shit was laying in the center of the living room. Overall it was a disaster. I cleaned the floors, fed my cats and puppy, all the while my boyfriend was having a discussion with Sil and Mill. I went down to the grocery store to get something, 2 minutes walk from my apartment, and after I came back I saw Sil and Sil's husband all packed up and ready to leave. My boyfriend asked me not to say anything and let them leave in peace, so I kept quiet. And Sil finally left our place with her husband's smile. After they left, Mill and BF got into an argument. My boyfriend ended up crying and blaming himself, where Mill agreed that her daughter is in the wrong, but she kept insisting that he shouldn't have said anything to them or asked them to leave, as she had called them to take care of her. For context, I'd like to mention again that when it was the day of her surgery, none of Mill's family was there for her except my boyfriend and me. I'd also like to mention that me and boyfriend, we work from home and we also have an office to attend. Boyfriend's friend had a birthday party the same weekend, and we went there to hand him over the gift, and we left in like 30 minutes, at least an hour away from pure apartment. Boyfriend and me, we both don't like yapping nonsense because we got work to do. These things made Mill feel neglected and that we were not there for her, which I understand was wrong on our part, as she was just recovering from the surgery. We could have been more present for her. Sil had already gaslit Mill, making her believe that it's me who's trying to wage war between their family and that I am the one putting words in their son's mouth. Unaware of what all was being spoken about me, I carried on with my job of being a decent human at the least. I served lunch for Mill and boyfriend, plated everything nicely. Mill's behavior towards me has completely changed. She's insisting she wants to leave tonight and my boyfriend feels really upset. All in all, I feel my boyfriend is the one who is going through the most stress here, trying to keep his family and me and sorting things out RN. He's a walking forest, and he did his best to make me feel safe and comfortable in the whole situation. I really hope that my Mill and boyfriend's relationship doesn't get affected because of all the BS that went down. He really loves Mill and looks up to her. Update 2, tiny update. Boyfriend talked it out with everyone and stood up for me. Mill finally understood, I guess. She is treating me normally like she would do usually. My boyfriend and I have cut off Sil from everywhere and things have settled down. We both had a long conversation and he apologized, saying that none of this would ever happen again and he should have done something about it earlier. We both have also decided to keep anyone who supports Sil out of our home and a weird life. This has been communicated to everyone as well. I'd stop my story here, and thank you for sticking around and letting me vent.